What's up, fellow pointless $8 checkmarks? Today we are talking about the death of Twitter, because it has been happening so fast. Since Elon Musk purchased the site, things have been going downhill at Mach speed. It's like he's speed running, destroying a company. He's doing some epic trolling.
You did this for what?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why though?
Some of Elon's decisions have been so odd that it looks like he's treating running the company like a childhood game of pretend. I decide this is gonna happen. Actually, wait, I changed my mind. Let's do this instead. Actually, no, back to that. But not like that. Yeah, I think. Wait, no, that instead. Yeah. This is basically what he's been doing with Twitter Blue and verification. He was impulsively rolling out changes in real time with no regard to potential consequences of those changes and then immediately revoking what he did. It's crazy that the longevity of this app is being held hostage by a billionaire with the managerial skills of a 5-year-old. So in this video, we're going to be pretty much going into everything that's happened on Twitter since Elon's taken over and really examine how the future of this site looks, and spoiler, it doesn't look good. The first thing we have to talk about is the destruction of the Twitter checkmark, the most iconic social media verification system. The checkmark on Twitter inspired tons of sites after it to use variations of the same symbol, like YouTube for example, and this checkmark has been massacred by Elon Musk. He saw it as an opportunity for profit. The checkmark verification system on Twitter has existed all the way since 2009. It's been that long. And the reason this system was invented was to show that someone's account was valid, to prove that this person was who they say they are. It was rolled out on Twitter because the company was getting complaints from celebrities and facing lawsuits about impersonation. So because the checkmark has been given out to celebrities and people who are likely to be impersonated, it immediately kind of became a status symbol. To have the checkmark shows status. So Elon saw profit in that. He thought, damn, I can get people to pay to look like they're famous. And now you can buy the checkmark for $8 by buying Twitter Blue. But here's the thing, when everyone's super and no one is.
Haven't you seen The Incredibles?
I don't give a flying fuck about The Incredibles!
The symbol literally loses all of its demand and appeal the second it goes from belonging to authors, politicians, celebrities, internet celebrities, to belonging to anyone who can spend $8. That is the only threshold you need to meet to get this thing on your username. It's basically now a giant mock me sign because everyone thinks you're crazy if you're paying $8 to have some pixels beside your name. Now, despite Elon's status in life being at the top of the societal ladder, you would expect him to have some critical long-term thinking, because the second Twitter Blue rolled out with this change, people were making verified parody accounts, not specifying that they're parodies, impersonating other celebrities, and tweeting the most hilarious shit. I mean, it is top comedy. While funny, again, it's bad for the company. Elon himself was getting impersonated, and it seems he got a little offended because after that, he decided to bring down the hammer on impersonation. He released a new official tag to go underneath official accounts that were likely to be impersonated, aka he just reinvented the checkmark. It's funny because he made a decision and then he immediately saw consequences to that decision, and he killed the checkmark just to basically reinvent it. Also, to combat impersonation, Elon made it so if you are verified, you cannot change your name. That's right, you're paying $8 a month for less customization of your profile. You're paying $8 a month to be punished, not just because people are laughing at you for buying it, but because you actually can't change your name. Now, this is applied to people with real verified checkmarks as well. Celebrities also cannot change their name right now. Here's John Green tweeting that it's rather stifling for this company to not let him change his name, considering he wants to change his name to do various things like promote charity. Now, site integrity has gone into the toilet since Elon Musk took over. One of the bad things to come from this burst of impersonation that Elon decided to combat was that some companies were being impersonated so hard that it potentially affected their stock. This company, Eli Lilly and Company, was impersonated, and the impersonator tweeted out, "We are excited to announce insulin is free now," and immediately after, their stock had a huge dip. Now, there are people debating this, saying it was a coincidence. Personally, I think it very well could be related to the tweets. But the main takeaway here is not whether or not it definitively caused the stock to tank, but the fact that people are now debating whether it did or did not. This is not a good look for Twitter because companies are seeing this stuff go down. The ones who pay Twitter to run ads, the ones who are the main financial supporter of Twitter, they're watching this dumpster fire go down, and they're not looking upon it favorably. It ruins site integrity because you just can't put your trust in it. It doesn't seem like a reliable site to convey information and communicate on anymore, if you are one of these companies. Now, another way site integrity is ruined is one of the changes that occurred with Twitter Blue. Now, Elon Musk has been a self-described advocate for free speech, but there's something about Twitter Blue that kind of contradicts that principle. Elon Musk has tweeted that purchasing and owning Twitter Blue will automatically grant your tweets priority exposure. So thus, you're gonna see checkmark tweets a lot more than you're gonna see tweets without a checkmark. AKA, Twitter Blue naturally is going to suppress non-Twitter Blue user viewership. It's going to drown it out, which means free speech is not entirely organic or protected like Elon wanted. Instead of every opinion, every tweet being treated equally, the type of people whose opinion is gonna get priority are the people who would pay $8 a month for pixels beside their name. And now, maybe some people don't see $8 a month as that big of a deal. And Elon's tweeted on this specifically. He tried doing a gotcha checkmate by tweeting this, which basically says, an $8 Starbucks drink is normalized and gone in a few minutes, while the checkmark lasts a month and is the same price. Now listen, I'm not a fan of paying $8 for a Starbucks drink. I will not vouch for it. But what I will say is I guarantee you get 5,000 times more satisfaction from 30 minutes of that drink than 30 days of Twitter Blue will ever give you. Yes, let me pay $8 to enhance my doom scrolling and let people hear my enlightened opinion that's just going to get ratioed anyway. Let me just hop on Twitter to become a target for mockery since I was dumb enough to buy validation in the form of several pixels. This is my participation trophy. Like, seriously, I can't get over the fact that there's a lot of crowd overlap between the people who hate participation trophies, but will also buy Twitter Blue. Like, you do realize you just paid for an I'm special badge. Like, there's no way this is bringing anyone true joy. This new system ruins site integrity by artificially inflating the exposure of opinions based on a paywall instead of the amount of true engagement you get with your post. Another way this new verification system ruins site integrity is that scammers are now able to scam way easier. Yes, Elon has been stricter on impersonation lately, but that's mainly effective with larger companies. But now scammers can invent a company and then buy Twitter Blue to look more official. Now, the issue may not be the check mark necessarily with these scammers as much as it is they are now paying to literally get priority promotion of their scams because of how Twitter Blue works. They can literally get way more exposure on their tweets. Now, let's talk about another way Twitter's changed, the unbanning of certain accounts. Now, Musk's unbanning of accounts have been questionable to say the very least. I know Andrew Tate has been one of the latest of note. Just when people had forgotten about Tate, talking about how deplatforming him had proved to be relatively successful, Musk shot him right back up there. Advertisers are seeing this. They don't want to put their name on a company that endorses Andrew Tate. So it's just further proof that Twitter is going to be going on a massive, steep decline because it's going to be getting a massive slash to its profit. The companies who propped it up are watching this boat crash and sink, and they're not sticking around. They're not going to be nobly playing violins on the Titanic. No, they're getting the hell out of there, and they're taking all the lifeboats. Now let's talk about the workers, the people who are staying on this sinking ship. Elon's laid off a ton of workers. Twitter had 7,500 employees, and now there are 3,700 after 2 rounds of mass firing. And everyone's pretty much questioning when it's going down. How can a site that's used to operating with that many people now have this few employees and function fine? Right now, it is kind of a ticking time bomb because minor issues can be resolved by the staff, sure, but there are some really big, complicated issues that can arrive at any point before staff numbers get back up that could absolutely destroy this site. Thanks to this person on Twitter for providing many reasons as to why Twitter could collapse with this shortage of workers. Now, they have been an SRE and system admin with 10 plus years of industry experience, so they do have the credentials to back up what they are saying. And they provided 50 plus plausible scenarios that can happen on Twitter that could very well tank the site. Now, I don't have time to go through all these 50 plus reasons, but I have selected some pretty important ones that I think we should go over. So let's read these. For context, I have seen some variant of every one of these problems pose a serious threat to a billion user application. I've even caused a couple of the more technical ones. I've been involved with triaging or fixing even more. 1. Random hard drive fills up. You have no idea how common it is for a single hosed box to cause cascading failures across systems, even well-engineered, fault-tolerant ones with active maintenance. Where's the box? What's filling it up? Who will figure that out? 3. Bad code push takes the site down. Preventing this was my day job, and I can tell you that it's one of the scariest scenarios for any SRE team, much less a completely understaffed and burnt out one. 4. Bad code push takes the site down in a way that also messes up the ability to push new code. This is the absolute nightmare scenario for teams like mine. When something like this happens, it's all hands on deck. Without deep systems understanding, you might never get it back. Now, reason number 8 they provided is a huge one, and a reason why I do not recommend putting any personal information anywhere on Twitter right now. I don't recommend DMing people any important details of your life. I don't recommend putting your credit card information on the site because of some reasons mentioned in this thread, including reason number 8. Someone notices that it's possible to read anyone else's DMs by loading up a particular URL. This is a Sev1 massive all-hands-on-deck critical issue. You need people who understand deeply how your privacy abstractions work and how to fix them. Which again, these scenarios are all taken from this person's experience. This is absolutely a thing that can happen. 9. The site goes dark at 4 a.m. The on-calls have no idea what's wrong. You need an incident manager on call who knows who to wake up, why, and how. Someone who understands your systems can synthesize information at lightning speed and coordinate a recovery effort. And right now, basically because of all the layoffs, there's not really a graveyard shift for these more sensitive hours. 15. The FBI wants to inspect the contents of the DMs of someone they think is going to, commit something. Do you have a system that grants them access? Do you refuse them access? How do you know it's really them? 17. Another country is telling you that they want all your data on their users stored on servers in their countries. Do you have policy experts for that country? Do you have a lot of very motivated lawyers? Do you have an infrastructure engineer who knows how to partition your data just so? Coding is not the only thing keeping Twitter alive. There's actually a lot of working with foreign governments involved. It is a worldwide site, so things can get pretty complicated. There are a lot of important, skillful positions that need to be filled. If there's an absence of highly experienced people with these positions, things can go pretty wrong. And reason 29 ties into this as well, and it's really complicated. Rebellion. Millions of people will use your platform to orchestrate rebellion against their government. Do you use tools to stop them? Do you let it ride? How do you decide? What if you let it ride and the same thing happens next week in a country you really like? It's a complicated non-black and white situation that needs to be navigated. And here's an entire list of 5 reasons all pertaining to security. Again, reasons why you probably shouldn't trust your sensitive data on Twitter right now. Because reason number 31 apparently happened. Invaders. A single box in your data center is mistakenly connected to the public internet and forgotten for years. This really does happen, I promise. Someone pops the box they're in. How do you detect it? What do you do once you do? They're in your network, they're watching, waiting, not doing anything. What damage can be done by observation? Credit card data? Passwords? DMs? It's pretty serious stuff. Twitter doesn't just need workers to stay online. It doesn't just need workers so that way it works at top speed. You need tons of qualified people to deal with actual security issues. And then another thing that I guarantee most people haven't thought about, provided by this person, is content moderation. Because I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't even thought about this, but here's what he says. You need 3 things: a giant team of people checking reports 24/7, another team working on tooling to help that team, and regular psychiatry appointments for the first team. Not kidding. Again, humanity is dark. Your moderators can and will commit unalive. And then the next reasons are just tying into how you have to provide psychiatric help to content moderators and how you have to have enough of them who aren't getting burnt out to do this kind of work. Some people may be desensitized to deep web imagery, but I mean, if that is your full-time job, if you're looking at that type of content all day, it is going to change you. It is a very hard position, and it is not for everyone. And they're really important to keeping the site alive. They're really important to keeping bad stuff off of it because bots can only do so much. So they follow up all their reasons by saying, point is, facing problems with a skeleton crew without the sufficient time for a transfer of tribal knowledge is a recipe for disaster. You need enough boots on the ground, and you need people who know the magic incantation. I know that given enough time, good docs and great engineers is plenty. The problem is there are a lot of things that can break in a short time, and they're way more likely to break and much harder to fix without sufficient time for technical knowledge transfer. Finally, many people are saying the hardcore engineers will be enough despite all that. Maybe so, but the point of the second half of this thread is that you also need people working on policy, legal, security, etc., and they need time to transfer knowledge too. So basically, Twitter with a shortage of workers, things aren't looking good for the site. And even through this entire storm, Elon was happily tweeting, active Twitter users are at an all-time high right now. Which must mean he's doing something right? Well, most of these people aren't sticking around. They're just here to watch Twitter burn and see what the hell is happening. That's what I've been doing. I've been observing Twitter just to see the situation unfold, but it's not meaningful engagement. But what's most important that Elon neglected to mention is that traffic to Twitter competitors right now is at an all-time high too. On Twitter, the day I started working on this video, Hive was number 2 on trending. And it was trending because people were leaving Twitter en masse. One of these small social media sites was trending because people were fleeing and they were going to create accounts on there. And get this, the best part is a lot of people liked it. A lot of people liked Hive, which is probably the worst thing you could do for Twitter. Elon, you're driving people away, leading them to try other social media sites like this, and instead of them trying it and thinking, damn, this is garbage, I better go back to Twitter, they actually like it. This is how you lose. This is how you destroy a company. Overall, the way Musk has been running the site has given people a lot of confidence. Not in his work, no one is feeling confident about Twitter, but it's given people confidence to believe in themselves and realize that yes, they too could run Twitter, and they could do it a lot better than him, that you too have the mental acuity to run a giant social media site. It's really a huge go for it, you can do it sign that I think a lot of people needed. I mean, what do I have to worry about if someone at the top of the societal ladder can screw up this big? Now, I already know there's some conspiracy people out there who think Musk is doing this deliberately because he's so big-brained, and that he could never mess up and it's just a publicity stunt to drive traffic to the site and he'll settle back down once he's got more numbers. But there's no way in hell that's what's going on here because what he's done has simply outdamaged any potential benefit he could get from that situation. It's just pure incompetency, since these decisions are going to have lasting ramifications on advertiser certainty, user trust, and it gave other apps leverage. So, that's that. Twitter is dying. Twitter can substantially decay, the internet landscape can change, and I strongly believe it will. But what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? What kind of change would you implement if you own Twitter? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Pretend to run your own little Twitters. I guarantee, no matter what you suggest, you're doing better than Musk. If you want to check out my social media or merch, I have links in the description. If you like this video, feel free to stick around on this channel. I also have a second channel. I upload to it completely randomly, but it's a pretty fun time over there. And yeah, thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.